Hello, everyone. EKG here with your Sunday motivation. We had a time in Authentic Worship Church. Let me tell you, Pastor Mark preached today. He reminded us about the widow who went to the king because she had a prayer. She had a request. She kept going to the king to the point where it got on the king's nerve. What did I get out of that? Your Sunday motivation is be persistent. Hebrews 10:36 says you need to preserve so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. This is your season to receive that which he has promised if you are persistent. Persistent simply means to continue to exist or endure over a long period of time. A second definition is continuing firmly or obstinately on a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. My word to you for this week, your motivation is be persistent. Be persistent in your ministry. Be persistent in your dream. Be persistent in your purpose. Be persistent in your business. Be persistent in whatever it is that God has called you to do, because your persistency will pay off. It is a season to be persistent. It is a season to not let up, regardless to what it is that is coming your way. The widow was persistent when she went to the king. She didn't have all of the different kind of prayers as he said, but she had one prayer, and she was persistent in that prayer because she needed an answer. My God, for that prayer. You've got to be consistent in this season. You've got to be consistent and you've got to be persistent. The saints who were praying for the man of God that was locked up in jail, they were persistent. They were so persistent that when the answer came, the Bible says they didn't even believe it. Talk about being persistent. My God, on today, the apostles, the disciples, they were persistent when they were out there preaching the gospel. They were persistent regardless to what could happen to them, regardless to what it may have cost them. They were persistent in preaching the gospel of the kingdom. I need you to know today, your persistency will produce results. See, there is a Sanballat and there is a Tobias that want to distract you from being persistent in building what God has called you to be. They want to distract you. They want to stop you. They want to discourage you, but you have to be persistent, because they was talking about Nehemiah. They were throwing all kind of accusations and different things at him, but he was persistent in building. My God, today I need you to be persistent in the things of God. Be persistent in what it is that he's called you to do. Don't entertain the Sanballats and the Tobias. There was Jezebel. There is a spirit of Jezebel that is infiltrating the church. She wants to infiltrate, or it wants to infiltrate the church so that it can infiltrate you and break you down. But I want somebody to know that even in a breakdown, you've got to be persistent. My God, today, even in a breakdown, you must be persistent. Even when the winds blow, as they were crossing the sea and a wind arose, a storm arose, they were scared, but then Messiah had Jesus in the boat, and he was persistent with the thing. Like, let me just speak to the thing. My God, when the storms come, when the things began to rise up and raise against you, my God, you've got to be persistent in the thing that God has called you to do. When they start to bash your reputation, when they start to talk about your ministry, when they start to stab you in the back, you've got to be persistent in the promise. You've got to be persistent in the word that God gave you, regardless to what it looks like, regardless to what it feels like. Your persistency will pay off. This has been your motivation for Sunday, your Sunday motivation. Be persistent on today. Let God do what he needs to do, but be persistent no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. Be persistent in your purpose. Be persistent in your dream. Be persistent in your business. Be persistent in the thing that God has called you to do before the foundation of the earth, because persistency produces results. God bless you all. I pray that this motivation gets you motivated through the week. God bless.